Namo Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय। अनंत कोटि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I hope all you are doing well. Today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 8. Chapter 9, text 8. So we have completed 7 texts from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. So if you have not listened so far, you can check out our playlist. So before we start, let's pray first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृतं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततं जयमुदीरये। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So let's begin. Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 text 8. Very small text, very small purport given by Swami Prabhupada. So it starts with Prakritim. प्रकृतिं स्वभम् अवस्तव्यो विसृजामि पुनः पुनः। प्रकृतिस्वभम् अवस्तव्यो विसृजामि पुनः पुनः। प्रकृतिस्वभम् अवस्तव्यो विसृजामि पुनः पुनः। प्रकृतिस्वभम् अवस्तव्यो विसृजामि पुनः पुनः। भूतग्रामम् इमं कृत्स्नं भूतग्रामम् इमं कृत्स्नं भूतग्रामम् इमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतिं वशात् अवशं प्रकृतिं प्रकृतिर्वशात्। प्रकृतिस्वभम् अवस्तव्यो विसृजामि पुनः पुनः। भूतग्रामम् इमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतिं वशात्। Please repeat after me. प्रकृतिस्वभम् अवस्तव्यो विसृजामि पुनः पुनः। भूतग्रामम् इमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतिं वशात्। Synonym. Prakriti. Prakriti means the material nature. Swabham. Swabham means of my swam. Prakriti swam. Swam means the personal self. Avastavyo. Avastavyo means entering into. Visrijami. Visrijami means I created. Puna puna. Again and again. Bhutagramam. All the cosmic manifestation. Imam. This. Kritshnam. In total. In total. Avasam. Avasam means automatically. Prakriti. Prakriti in force of nature, of the force of nature. Basar. Basar under obligation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The whole cosmic order is under me. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So creation or manifestation and annihilation both are under control of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So purport, what is a purport? Purport is This material world is a manifestation of inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained in several times. At the creation, the material energy is let loose at the Mahatvattva, is let loose as a Mahatvattva into which the Lord as his first Purusa incarnation Mahavishnu entered. Okay. This has already been explained several times. At the creation, the material energy is let loose as the Mahatattva, into which Lord, the Lord, as the first Purusha incarnation Mahavishnu entered. He lies within the causal ocean and breathes out innumerable universe. And into each universe, Lord again entered as a Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Each universe is in that way created. He still further manifests himself as a Hridakoshaya Vishnu, and that Vishnu enter into everything, even into the minute atom. This fact explained here. He enter into everything. Now, as far as living entity are concerned, they are impregnated into the material nature. They are impregnated into this material nature, and as result of their past deed they take different position. Thus the activity of the material world begin. The activity of the different species of living being are begun from very moment of creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of life are created immediately along with the universe. Men, animal, beast, bird, everything is simultaneously created because whatever desire of living entity had at the last annihilation and again manifested. It is clearly indicated here by the word Vasham that the living entity have nothing to do with the process. The living entity have nothing to do with this process. The state of being in their past life, in the past creation, is simply manifested again. And all this is done simply by His will. This is inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after creating the different species of life, He has no connection with them. And creation take place to accommodate the inclination of the various living entity. And so the Lord does not become involved with it. So here we concluded reading of Bhaktivedanta purport for the day. So I hope all you understood. Let's jump into the insight. We have made a separate video presentation. Please listen till the end. You will get better insight. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
All right, let's just jump right into it. We're going to tackle one of the biggest questions out there. Where does all this come from? We're going to look at a kind of cosmic blueprint for creation, and we'll do it all through the lens of one single, really powerful verse from an ancient text. I mean, it's the ultimate question, right? How does it all begin? Where did this whole universe, with all its crazy complexity and life, where did it actually come from? It's a question that has kept people up at night for thousands of years, driving science, philosophy, you name it. So, the text we're diving into, the Bhagavad Gita, gives a surprisingly direct answer. It just comes right out and says, the whole cosmic order is under me. Whoa. So right off the bat, we're talking about a universe that isn't an accident. It's built on intention. There's a will behind the whole thing. Okay, so let's start with that idea, a universe under will. It's a pretty big concept, right? We're not talking about random chance or a cosmic accident. Nope. This is a framework where the whole show, everything you see, was deliberately set in motion.
So just for context, this verse we're looking at is from the Bhagavad Gita. It's a really ancient Sanskrit text, part of a much larger epic story. Now, for what we're doing today, we're just going to treat it as a philosophical text, one that lays out this really fascinating model of how the universe works. And here's the full verse. Let's really look at this. Two phrases just jump right out. Automatically manifested and again. These are huge. First, it's telling us the whole process is automated, like it's programmed by a divine will. And second, it's cyclical. It happens over and over.
A universe is born, it lives, it gets annihilated, and then the whole thing starts all over again. Okay, to really get this, we need to know a key term. It's a Sanskrit word, prakriti. That's pra-krug-ti. The easiest way to think about it is like the raw material. It's the cosmic energy, or maybe a better way to put it is a giant cosmic canvas. And this prakriti is the stuff that the divine will works on to create, well, everything.
All right, so if the divine will and this cosmic canvas, prakriti, are the why of creation, what about the how? What are the actual mechanics? Let's get into that now.
So this creation process, it's not like just flipping a switch and bam, there's a universe. The text describes it more like a cascade, a step-down process. Divine energy flows into creation in these really focused stages, going from the superhuge, universal level all the way down to the tiny particular things.
And this breaks down that cascade into 3 distinct steps. So, step 1, you have this cosmic being, Mahavishnu, who literally breathes out countless universes, just poof! Then, step 2, another form, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, actually enters each one of those universes to manage its specific creation. And then, step 3, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu permeates everything inside that universe, all the way down to the tiniest atom. It's this incredible link, connecting the infinitely big to the infinitely small.
Okay, this is a pretty mind-blowing cosmic model for sure, but it kind of begs a very personal question, doesn't it? What does any of this have to do with us, with you and me? So let's zoom in a bit and shift from the big cosmic mechanics to our place in the cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Where do we fit in? If there's this grand will orchestrating everything from galaxies down to atoms, what's our role? Are we actually doing anything, or are we just along for the ride? Well, according to the commentaries on this verse, living beings are, and this is the word they use, impregnated into that material nature, that prakriti we talked about. And where we end up is based on our deeds from a previous cycle. And this leads to a really interesting point. All the species, humans, animals, birds, all of them, are created at the same time. This is totally different from a slow, gradual evolution. It's more like an instantaneous creation, where all beings and even their old desires from the last go-around just pop back into existence. And that brings us to another really important word here. It's avasham, pronounced avasham. This word is key. It means something happens automatically, even helplessly. It suggests that for us, the living beings, we have no control over this whole process. We don't get a say in our placement. It just happens. So you see the massive contrast here, right? It's will versus placement. On one side, you've got the supreme will. It's the active force, the one calling all the shots, the sole orchestrator. And then on the other side, you've got us, the living entities. We're just passive participants. The text is super clear about this, saying we have nothing to do with this process. We're just placed automatically, avasham. This huge difference between the active creator and the passive created, it leads us to our final section. And honestly, it might be the most mind-bending part of this whole idea. The inconceivable potency. Okay, so get ready for a bit of a paradox. The text describes this supreme being who so carefully creates everything, who is present in every single atom, and yet is somehow completely detached from it all. It says that after creating all the different forms of life, he has no connection with them. Think about that. It's like setting up this incredibly intricate stage, but then not getting involved in the play at all. Detached orchestration. So you have to ask, why? Why go through all the trouble? And this quote gives us the answer. The entire cosmic show is put on for one reason: to give all of us, the living entities, a place to act out the desires and inclinations we had left over from the last cycle. The whole universe is basically a stage built for our desires. And that leaves us with a really deep question to think about. If this whole cycle is automatic, and we're placed into it helplessly, but the entire universe exists just for our desires, then what does it even mean to have a desire? What does that say about free will versus fate? That's really the core tension in this whole cosmic blueprint, isn't it? This puzzle of an automated creation that's built around our individual wants.
Now we completed the video presentation. Let's begin with audio podcast.
Okay, welcome to the deep dive. This is where we really try to take some, dense source material and, well, boil it down for you. Get right to the essentials.
Yeah, make it accessible, but without losing the depth.
Exactly. And today, we are tackling, it's the big one, creation itself. the whole cosmic cycle of existence, according to this specific text.
And this material, it's really quite something. It doesn't just talk in vague terms. It aims to give a pretty authoritative, almost mechanistic explanation for the whole cosmic order.
Right, from the biggest things, like entire universes.
All the way down to the atom. It claims it's all systematically governed by, well, a divine will.
So that's our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To really understand the machinery, the mechanics of this apparently infinite repeating creation cycle.
Mm-hmm.
There's this core idea, comes from a translation of the original Sanskrit, and it kind of sets the stage. It says, the whole cosmic order is under the divine will. It is automatically manifested again and again and annihilated at the end.
Automatically. That's a key word we'll need to unpack.
Definitely. We need to figure out that mechanism. But also, crucially, where do individual living entities, as you, the listener, where do you fit within this huge repeating cosmic drama?
Right. So to start, we probably need to define the basic building blocks. The source calls this material world, the one we experience, the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Inferior energy. Okay, that distinction sounds really important. Foundational, you said.
Absolutely is foundational.
But why inferior? I mean, look around. It seems incredibly complex, beautiful, capable of sustaining life. Why label it inferior?
Well, it's considered inferior not because it's like badly made or flawed in that sense. It's inferior because it's temporary. It's material, so it's subject to time, to decay, and eventually annihilation.
Ah, okay, so it's not eternal.
Exactly. It's secondary compared to the spiritual energy, which is described as eternal and, importantly, conscious. This whole material setup, according to the text, is really just a backdrop, a stage for the living entities.
Who are part of the superior energy.
Yes, the conscious spiritual energy. So the material universe is basically a temporary container, a massive structure, sure, but one that's always scheduled for eventual demolition and then reconstruction.
A cosmic reset button.
Mm-hmm.
So how does the current cycle, the one we're in, actually kick off? Where does it begin?
It begins, the source says, when this inferior material energy is, well, let loose. It's activated at the moment of creation as something called the Mahatattva.
Mahatattva. Okay, what's that, roughly?
You can think of it as the total unmanifested material substance, like the primordial cosmic clay, maybe. Everything that will eventually be formed is potential within it.
Got it. The raw material is ready.
Right. Once that material is there, then the actual structuring, the building process begins.
Okay, let's unpack that sequence.
Yeah.
Because the source doesn't just say, poof, universe.
Yeah.
It describes a very specific threefold process, like layers of divine action, initiating and then sustaining everything. And the scale involved here, it just gets wild.
It really does. Staggering is a good word. So it starts at the macro level with what you could call the macro creator. The first specific divine manifestation described is the first Purua incarnation, known as Mahavyu.
Mahaviv, yeah. Okay.
And this Mahavyu enters into that vast, unmanifested Mahatattva.
Enters into it. And what's his specific job there? What does he do?
He's the initial catalyst, the grand architect, maybe. The text says he lies within what's called the causal ocean, and simply by breathing out.
Breathing out.
Yeah, breathing out. He simultaneously produces innumerable universes. Just like that. These are the basic cosmic shells, the blueprints, if you will.
Wow, innumerable universes just exhaled into existence.
That's the picture painted. It's this first huge macro act, setting the stage.
Okay, but that sounds almost chaotic, like countless bubbles appearing instantly. How does the text bridge that massive scale with the, intricate order we see down to the laws of physics working within our universe? That needs internal structure, right?
Absolutely. And that brings us neatly to the second phase, the second Peru manifestation.
Okay.
So into each one of those innumerable cosmic shells, the Lord is said to enter again. This time, the manifestation is called Garbhodakasheya Vito. Think of him as the universal sustainer for that specific universe.
Ah, I see. So if Mamadine was the developer building the whole complex,
Right.
then Garbhodakasheya VDM moves into each individual building or universe to handle the internal systems, the plumbing and electricity.
That's a decent analogy, yeah. He takes the blueprint for that specific universe and makes it functional, makes it livable, fills it with planetary systems, stars, sets up the internal cosmic laws for that universe.
Okay, so we've gone from the creation of countless shells to the structuring of the inside of each shell. Makes sense.
Precisely. From the macro shell to the specific universal interior. But even that doesn't fully cover the text's core claim, which is that the divine presence enters into everything.
Right, down to the atom. How does that work? If the creator sets up the universe and then just lets it run, how could it be in everything constantly?
Good question. And that requires the final and maybe the most pervasive step, the third level. This is where the divine presence really drills down into our tangible reality.
Okay, the ultimate pervasion.
Exactly. The Lord further manifests himself, the text says, as Kanorakashe Yivyu. This is the third Peru incarnation.
Korakasheviya.
And this manifestation enters into, well, everything, every single thing, down into the tiniest, most minute atom.
Into the atom itself.
Into the atom. He's described almost like the underlying operating system, the energy that makes physics work at the quantum level, that holds things together. This explains that claim of being in everything, ultimate omnipresence within the material world.
That's quite a hierarchy. From breathing out universes to structuring one to literally being inside every atom. It's like it takes 3 distinct divine layers just to keep the lights on, so to speak.
It does paint a picture of profound, layered involvement in the structure, yes. The idea isn't just starting the machine, but continuously inhabiting even its smallest components.
Okay, so the stage is built down to the atomic level.
Yeah.
Physics are running. But what about the actors? If the house is built, who lives there? And how do they get assigned their rooms? Where do we, the living entities, fit in?
That's the crucial shift, isn't it? From the material structure to the consciousness within it. The source uses this word. It says the living entities are impregnated into this material nature.
Impregnated,
Yeah.
like seeded into it.
Yeah, that's the sense. It's the reintroduction of consciousness into the newly formed material world at the start of the cycle.
And does that immediately determine, like, our position, what form we take?
Yes, and this is where the whole cycle gets intensely personal for everyone listening. Your physical position, the species you manifest as, whether it's human, animal, bird, whatever, is described as a direct, almost automatic result of your past deeds, your karma.
Whoa, okay, hang on. So the universe basically just automatically assigns you a body based on actions and desires from a previous cosmic cycle?
That's exactly what the text claims. The universe acts like a perfect reflection, manifesting the right physical form, the right container for each consciousness based on its karmic profile.
So this body you're in right now,
Hmm.
the source is saying it wasn't random. It was, in a sense, chosen for you automatically based on stuff you did ages ago. It's not a fresh start. It's a consequence playing out.
An unavoidable consequence of prior choices, yes. And the timing here is also really interesting and maybe counterintuitive.
How so?
The source explicitly states that the activities and the manifestations of all the different species of living beings, they begin right from the very moment of creation.
Wait, from the very moment. You mean not like
Yeah.
a slow process, things starting simple and getting more complex over billions of years, like evolution?
No, and this is a really critical point the text makes, a major departure from standard scientific thought. It emphasizes it is not that everything gradually evolved. The different species of life, humans, animals, birds, insects, all of them are, according to the source, created immediately and simultaneously with the universe itself.
Simultaneously. Wow. That really throws a wrench in the usual timeline. If it's all immediate, what decides who becomes what and where? What's the mechanism?
The driving force is identified as desire, plain and simple. Whatever desires the living entities held strongest at the moment of the last annihilation when the previous universe ended, those desires are the primary drivers for what form they take when the new creation manifests. The desire is like the seed.
And the new material creation is the fertile ground.
Exactly, making sure that seed sprouts instantly as the appropriate species to experience the results of those past desires.
So the universe hits reset, but our user data, our desire history, gets carried over and immediately shapes our new existence.
That's the concept. And there's a specific Sanskrit term used here that really hammers home how little control the individual entity has over this remanifestation process itself.
What's this?
It's avasham. It translates roughly as automatically or helplessly under obligation.
Avisha. Okay, that sounds significant.
There really is. It creates this fascinating philosophical tension because while the reason for your manifestation is your past desires and actions,
Right.
the actual process of you appearing in that specific body, in that specific situation, is described as entirely automatic, executed solely by the supreme will without your input at that moment.
So the text literally says The living entities have, quote, nothing to do with this process of remanifestation.
That's the phrasing used in the commentary, yes. The state you were in, the desires you had in the previous cycle, are just manifested again, automatically, simply by his will.
That sounds like a pretty strong case against free will, at least at the point of birth or rebirth into a cycle.
It certainly emphasizes the lack of control at that specific juncture. It's presented as a demonstration of the inconceivable potency of the supreme will, how the universe can instantly cater to the karmic needs of countless beings.
So you might have free will during a life to create new desires and karma.
Correct.
But when the cosmic reboot happens, you are obliged, Avashem, to take the form dictated by your past account balance, whether you like it now or not.
That's the implication, yes.
Yes.
Your starting position is essentially locked in by history.
That's a lot to take in. For anyone listening, the idea that your current existence is, in a way, the automatic playback of an old desire,
Yeah.
triggered by a cosmic event totally beyond your control. It's profound.
It is. So we've got this automated cycle driven by past desires, overseen by a single divine will that's apparently inside every atom,
Yeah.
which naturally leads to the next big question, maybe the ultimate paradox the text has to grapple with.
Which is,
Well, if the divine will is so involved orchestrating every atom, placing every creature based on karma, how involved does the creator remain after setting it all up? Is he constantly intervening?
you'd think. He must be right. If he's the operating system in the atoms, he's intimately involved. And the text says, he set it all up specifically to accommodate desires.
Exactly. The source states the creation happens solely to accommodate the inclinations, the desires of all the various living entities. It's like a custom-built stage for their drama of desire and consequence.
The Lord makes sure the framework is perfect for karmic justice. You get the body and environment needed to experience the results of your past actions.
Precisely. He ensures the system functions.
Okay. So where's the paradox?
Here's where it gets really interesting, philosophically. After going to all that trouble, entering the atom, breathing out universes, instantly creating all species to fulfill desires, the Lord is then described as remaining completely detached.
Detached. How can he be detached if he's inside every atom?
That's the core tension. He is the foundation, the source of the mechanism, the sustainer. But the source also explicitly states that this ultimate orchestrator has, quote, no connection with them, meaning the activities, and does not become involved with the day-to-day striving of the individual entities pursuing their material goals.
Hold on. Omnipresent,
Yeah.
yet detached. He builds the perfect system for cause and effect, but then doesn't get caught up in the effects himself.
That's the idea. It's sometimes described as the non-doership of the Supreme. The material energy, that inferior energy we talked about,
Yeah.
it acts perfectly according to the rules he set. It automatically delivers the results of actions, fulfilling the desires, good or bad, because the system is automated and runs on inherent laws.
The creator himself remains unaffected, like the programmer who wrote the code but isn't affected by what users do in the program.
That's a way to think about it, yes.
That's-
He set the rules, the laws of karma and material nature, and the system enforces them perfectly. So he doesn't need to get entangled in the results generated by the entities acting within the system.
Okay, wow. So let's try to synthesize this. What's the big picture takeaway for us, for you listening?
Well, we've outlined this picture of a repeating, automated cosmic cycle. It's driven by an almost unimaginable divine power.
Right. And this cycle instantly accommodates everyone's pre-existing desires, their karma, their past deeds, making sure they get the appropriate species and situation right at the start of the new creation.
Instantly and simultaneously, according to the text. And yet,
Mm-hmm.
the ultimate source, the orchestrator of it all, while being the very fabric of existence down to the atom,
Remains seemingly detached from the ongoing drama, from the consequences playing out within the universe he built.
yeah, it's presented as a closed, self-regulating system of desire, action, and manifestation, built perfectly, perhaps, to enforce karma without requiring constant, direct intervention from the creator in every single interaction.
So thinking about that term avasham, again, that helplessness or obligation at the point of remanifestation. If the species we get, the starting point, is created immediately based on desires from a previous annihilation, and we have nothing to do with the process of that specific manifestation, it really pushes you to consider something beyond just this material setup, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I mean, think about it. If your current existence, your very form, is just the automatic playing out of some long-forgotten desire,
Yeah.
and you are obliged, Abhisham, to start this life in this specific way because of those past deeds, well, it forces you to ask, Where does true free will actually begin within this recurring cosmic order?
If your starting line is predetermined by a past you can't even remember.
Exactly. How much of life is just the universe's automated response, and where does your genuine conscious choice kick in? That feels like the question this whole framework leaves you to really chew on.
Definitely something to think about long after this deep dive ends.